Sorry, I can cut all this stuff out. Right, so today's video, today's part of the ranking the top 5 of every ranking the top 5 of every class in Disney Speedstorm. Third on the agenda, and the third that we're going to be looking at is Defenders. So today we're going to be doing the top 5 Defender class characters. We'll start off with number 5. Number 5 is Genie. Genie isn't really meta, to be honest. But I wanted to give him a nod on the top 5 just because this is the kind of character and the kind of template that I want. Disney Speedstorm to start looking at going forward. This is the kind of character, and we're going to go obviously like later on in the list. I think the Defender class has some of the most interesting characters in it when it comes to speed, when it comes to how the characters actually work, when it comes to their skills. So Genie's normal skill is Genie activates one of 3 different options depending on how many opponents are in front of him. Become invulnerable for an even longer period, even faster guided projectile, or average boost. So what this means is if you're in anywhere under second, you'll be getting a boost. If you're in second, you'll be getting a guided projectile. And if you're in first, you'll be getting invulnerability. Invulnerability is relatively useful, but it doesn't do anything more than that. The guided projectile, when you're in second, obviously, that can come in clutch on so many occasions. And obviously, a speed boost is always nice to have when you're trailing at the back. And really, it's in his charge skill where he gets used, because you can build up there is a chance you can get 3 dashes in a row. And yeah, I know he doesn't have dash in his skill pool, but the random skills that you can get from the charge skill, it doesn't matter if they're in his skill pool, he will get them anyway. He can get any skill, no matter what is in his base kit skill pool anyway. So yeah, Genie is really fun. I don't know how useful he actually is. I seem to be doing pretty well with him in ranked. His handling is a little bit off, but he's a defender. Every defender's handling is a little bit off. The biggest knock, I would say, on Genie is just he's not as fast as some of the other defenders are. His top speed isn't as good as other defenders is. And also, he's an epic character, so you're not going to be getting his shards nearly as quickly as other characters on the list. That being said, he is still a very interesting character and points in a very good direction for how Disney Speedstorm is going to treat characters going forward. Next defender we're going to talk about, number 4, Elizabeth Swann. Elizabeth Swann used to be one of the best characters in the game. she used to be incredible, and she still is in the right setup. She has been nerfed a little bit, not drastically, and she's still able to do. She's still pretty much on par with how she was before. It's just that the skill, her charge skill, at the back, it didn't need to be as long as it was. But now, it's like just it's the length that it should be. It's the length that it should have always been. But it's just a really good skill. You can block up paths. You can like send other people behind you careening off. It's really good for that follow the leader style of race, where you want people to not be able to get behind you, or if they are behind you, to get debuffed in some sort of way. Yeah, it's a really good skill and really useful as well. I think that's the most important thing, is like when you have good use for a skill. I think the normal activation, even when you are behind, this just isn't great, but it's okay. It's just okay. I don't think it's great. It's very similar to Beast's skill when he gets charged up. As for number 3 is Kristoff. Kristoff is great, man. Kristoff is a sleeper. For me personally, I didn't care about any of the Frozen characters when they came into the game. Now I still don't. Apart from Kristoff, I think Kristoff is the one that will stay relevant for a very long time. Kristoff will stay relevant for the next few seasons, I reckon, because he's able to counter everything. He's able to like throw objects that stay, like these blankets, the burning blanket, basically count as like mines, where they're like jumpers, but because they're smaller and they're less obvious to see. Or not jumper, Gantu. They're like Gantu's skill, where the projectiles will stay on the ground for a little bit, so anyone who runs over them after they're placed will get stunned as well. So this is essentially working like crocodile teeth, or like little mines, and then obviously Sven going off in front and basically working like Raja is great. The only thing to make Kristoff better is if you add him getting extra boost to the Kristoff calling out, the Sven calling out. That's the only way to make him better. And even then you don't need it, because his primary skill is this. His primary skill is this, so he doesn't need anything else. He doesn't really need anything else. Ariel is number 2, and the reason why Ariel is number 2 is practically just for her unique skill. Her stats are okay, they're just middling, but I think her unique skill, it's really interesting the way that it works, and I really want to see more characters that are released later get skills like this, where you actually have to play in a different way. You have to kind of strategize a bit. So, several underwater relics spawn on the track. Ariel moderately increases her max speed for each relic. That last sentence, a moderately increased max speed, that doesn't matter. That doesn't really, it's barely noticeable. Maybe it's more noticeable at higher star levels. But right now, I'm not noticing any top speed increase or anything. As for her charge skill, she uses the relics collected during the normal skill for essentially 4 boosts. So she gets essentially the rush power up 4 times, or like it's essentially like doing the rush power up 2 times in a row, and that's great. If you can get a rush power up in the middle of that, that's 3 times. So basically, anytime you pop off the charge skill, you're ending up in first. Anytime you're ended up at first, or you're well on your way to getting into first. Like if you're out of the race and then you pop this, you're back in. So yeah, Ariel is insane, and it's the first skill of its type that kind of meshes and makes you need to use both types of the skill. Most characters, you're only really using the charged version of the skill. With Ariel, you need to use the normal version as well. And for that, I think, yeah. And the fact that you're getting a really good payoff. Like, this is the first character where they've got this kind of like charge mechanic, but the payoff is actually really is worth something. Like for Beast, the payoff is if you're in first, you stay in first, and you just get further away. For Randall, it doesn't seem like that big of a payoff. I'm just gonna be honest. There is a payoff, and I'm seeing more out of Randall than I was before. But with Ariel, I think with the star levels, it's only going to get better. But even at star level 3, I'm seeing Ariel go from like 5th to 1st with just 1 pop of this. So that's insane. And in my opinion, still, I think the best character in the game. Quite possibly. And I think still like a personal favourite of so many people. Look at that top speed. Take a look at my top speed. And take a look at that combat stat as well. Combat isn't really that important, but the only thing that's going against... I'm just going to level him up right now.
Victory.
There's no reason not to. There's no reason not to. And yeah, but Buzz is quite possibly the best character in the game. And it's all in this. It's all in the charge skill. Fires a giant firework rocket backwards. The rocket moves chaotically, stunning everyone along the way, while Buzz makes a dash forward for the longest distance. This negates half of every track. This negates pretty much half of every track. And by makes a dash forward, he's reaching up to speeds of like 500 mile per hour. or 500 kilometer per hour is what the game registers it as. So Buzz can easily stay in the 200 kilometer an hour zone for like the whole track, for like the whole race. Easily best character in the game. He's almost unbeatable. The only thing he doesn't have is good defensive skills. But I think if he had Cloak, he would be insane. And he still is. If he had Cloak, he would be like nigh on unstoppable. So the only way to stop him is to get lucky and stun him before he's too far in front. But if you're playing as him, and I still don't have the 5-star, but if you're playing as him, you're nowhere. You're going to be having so much fun. Buzz is the best feeling character in the game, in my opinion, and he's just so good. He's just so good. I don't think. I know I've got quite a few. I know I've got one more video in this series to do. Where is Buzz? Buzz Light. I've got one more video left of this series to do. The Tricksters. But I'm just going to let you into a little secret. None of the Tricksters are better than Buzz. None of the Tricksters are better than Buzz. Buzz is the best character in the game, in my opinion. Best character in the game. Anyways, that is the top 5 speedsters in Disney Speedstorm at the moment. Not speedsters, defenders. The top 5 defenders in Disney Speedstorm as of Season 6. I don't think I'm going to do one of these for Season 7. I think I'm going to wait until the end of the year to do another video like this. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one, where we will be taking a look at the top 5 tricksters in Disney Speedstorm. I'll see you guys then. Peace.